streaming. Oh, there we go. So, I'm going to have to find out why Josh didn't answer the call. Let me send him the link again. Alright guys, it looks like we are live. Welcome to Tech Talk. We're having technical difficulties. We're working on getting my other tech guy on the team back on the show. And I have totally ruined the first episode of Tech Talk, which is fine. Alright, man. I had to totally use a different scene because my other scene was not working, so I'm just going to use this one. I'm going to reshare the links. That link I shared before, guys, should work, so if everybody wants to jump back on that original link, they can. Yep, for what we're doing right now, the link I shared around. No, I'm broadcasting. Alright, so I'm seeing 2 people jump on, so I'll wait a few minutes and let everybody know. I guess if everybody that was tuning in, I'm gonna go ahead and reshare the link. So give me a moment, guys, because I had quite a few people ready to watch, but I'm sure they're not watching now because we're 30 minutes late trying to get the stream going. So I'm just going to remove my old advertisement of it. See if it'll let me. Okay, delete. And I'm just going to reshare. All right, I'm going to do it again. We are live after technical difficulties. Okay. So, can you guys talk to see if I can get your audio? No, now I had to unmute you, so now they can hear you.
Okay.
You can hear me too?
Yep, I'm now seeing you. So
Okay.
I'm going to have to redo my whole entire scenes for the show.
Nice.
And
Okay.
for some reason, it would not work. And
Did you get it?
so
Yeah.
I'm going to start sharing it around, the new link. So
He's sharing it around now.
sorry, folks, if you're commenting. Yeah, we got 2 people watching, so I don't know if we're going to have a very good turnout because they were expecting us to go live and it did not happen. So it is what it is. You'll have things like that.
Well, yeah.
I don't have a team of people helping me share things, so I'm going to have to do that myself.
Because the attachment is unavailable.
What's it say?
Attachment unavailable. Never mind, wait. There.
Okay.
There.
You can also just go to my YouTube channel if the link's not working.
Yeah, it's working now.
There.
Okay.
There.
I can hear everything she's listening to on her device. It's just looping through.
You'll need headphones for your phone.
Hear everything she's listening to on her device. Alright, I got it shared back around. I'm going to have to deal with it, I guess. No sense in being mad about it. Sorry about the tech difficulties. Alright. Alright, guys. Yeah, I shared the links all around a trillion places. If you had friends wanting to watch this show, you can rebroadcast the link. If you want me to send it into your inbox, Josh. Here's the link in your inbox.
I think I went and clicked share in Messenger, and I'm just going down through and hitting send on all of the.
Here, let me get the link for you again. I didn't send it right. There we go. Okay. Yeah, you can share it that way if you have a way to automatically share. All right, guys. What we are wanting to do on this live stream is talk about the tech side of our paranormal research. We want to have guests come in. This first episode is 2 of my team members. We're going to talk about some of the gear, the gadgets, and the tech that we've been working on this year. And we're going to let some of our, normal followers, some new followers know about what we try to do in our primary research, which is EVP. So, with that being said, I'm going to introduce both these guys. They're really, really cool and knowledgeable about what they do. On the screen now, you see Derek Schreiner. Say hi, Derek.
How you doing?
And over here on the other side, I have Josh Bender. He is responsible for all the cool infrared lighting you have seen recently on our videos. Say what's up, Josh.
What's up, everybody?
Okay. So, before we get into hearing me talk about boring technical stuff, I'm going to let you guys talk first. Josh, since you already have the lights sitting next to you, why don't you tell everybody that could be watching or that is watching, what is up with your lights, what got you into building them, and kind of explain the journey that you've been on with the lights and where you're at currently with them.
All right. To start out, I just decided to start building, my own lights. It wasn't never really intended for it to take off like this, but I love to build things. So, I just got to looking at different things and doing some research and noticed that, hey, I think I can build these. I do have a little bit of a electrical background, so just applied that, and I started off with. I actually have one of the very first lights that I made here, and this is basically just an illuminator. You just put it up in the room and let it illuminate everything. But it's a pretty big one. This one I tested this out at Waverly, and this is the first time I was at Waverly 2 years ago, and I had already made a few lights before that, so it's probably been 3 years I've been messing around with the stuff, and then I progressed, and when I started talking to you about the lights, this is what came next, and this is a 30 watt, and this is Derek's pride and joy, because the serial number is number 1, and he bought the first one, so this is number 1. We have to take care of this one, but just a 30 watt light. Has a switch on it so that you can switch from between 15 watt and 30 watt. Has the adjustment knob on the top, and you can turn it all the way down, and it stays on. You have full range, almost a full turn to adjust. So, and then I think you and I were still talking, and we went to moved to a 40 watt, and this is the second or third one that I had made, but this one's unique because not only can you can put batteries in the battery box on the back, but I also have a plug right here to where you can use a recommended external power source, because not all things that fit in this jack right here will work right. I think we've found that out kind of the hard way, Justin. But
yeah.
But there's a switch right here that prevents it from. You can either use the battery power. You switch it to one side. You can use your battery power here, or switch it to the other side, and you can plug in your power source here and use the light. And of course, it has the adjustment knob and your selection of the LEDs on this, and then we kind of went crazy after that, and Justin had come up with some really good ideas, and this was the first one that I made. And the reason behind this one here is wide angle lenses. How do we illuminate the whole picture? And we test it with Justin's Zoom Q8 because I don't think there's other than a 360 camera, I don't think there's a wider angle lens. I've never seen one, but 160 degrees, that's hard to illuminate. So I made this one. This is a curved front 40-watt light right here. And the thing you see on the front is I'm retrofitting this 40-watt with a diffuser, which I'll talk about in a minute. But this is as you can see, this is a curved front. It not only curves this way, but it also curves the other way as well. So you have lights pointing in pretty much in every direction. And the diffuser, which I have one right here. I have another curved front light. This is a 30-watt here that I made for one of the other team members. But this is a diffuser. This, the light hits that, and then it just disperses it, makes it even, and takes away your hot spots. You do lose a little bit of range with it, but I'm okay with sacrificing range. I'm not all about seeing how far my lights will shine. I would rather sacrifice range for a good quality picture, illuminating everything.
Right. I would like to add real quick, Josh, the diffuser. Yeah. My main idea for adding that is for stuff that's close up, that's close proximity lighting. It's not meant for range, like you said. So if you want range, you just take the nuts off the ends, and then it'll shine like it's supposed to. So when you're using the diffuser, do not be confused that is to help the range in any way. So just to redefine what you're saying is the idea is for close proximity lighting, and so you don't blow people out, because a lot of cameras don't have automatic exposure compensation, and it'll just, like you said, make it nice, clean, and very diffused instead of making everybody seem straight up, blown out.
Yep, and I did take it off. This is the diffuser here. You just I can almost put it on in the dark, but you just it has your where you screw it in there. You can take it off. You can use the light just like this. You're inside somewhere, and you can just put it on the front. The thumb screws stay right on the diffuser itself. I mean, it's pretty flexible. It will break. I have broken a few, but I've contoured it so you're not straining it to put it on or anything. It's contoured, and the thing is, these lights are handmade. I buy the materials. These lights here, I've handmade the boxes myself, just from buying supplies and putting them together. And so each diffuser is handmade for the light itself. So I'm trying to keep templates for each individual light. So like Justin, I made one for you. I do have a template for yours. So if you break one, all I have to do is trace it out and make a new one and send it off. And that's better than somebody sending me the light. But and this actually, I've tested it with my Sony Handycam. One of the, I don't know what model it is, but it's a newer one, HD. With this 30-watt, with the diffuser on, I can see at least 100 feet away outside, but in the open area. So it's still good range, but it all depends on the camera you use. The different cameras perform differently with IR light. So some of them take, like the Bell & Howells and stuff like that. Some of those take an awful lot of light, and it's still not real good. The Sonys work really well. I know the Canons work really well. We've tried them with the Zoom Q8. Your SJ Cam 4000. Those pictures you sent me from Waverly was amazing, and it didn't even have a diffuser on it.
Yes.
So
Real quick, I want to give Nikki a shout out. She's watching on the stream. She loves your lights. She has a testament. She's used them herself. And if you want a review with somebody who is pretty much well known in the paranormal community, Nikki Para Unnormal. Now, go check out her YouTube channel and her live streams on Facebook. They're really cool. Of course, Matt Benton is screaming to have one next.
Yeah, I have a. It can be hard to keep up with orders, so I try to keep it controlled. So I don't advertise a whole lot. I just go by word of mouth. Like right now, I have 2 orders to do, and I'm still trying to work on some new designs, some different lights, and some things a little bit smaller. So I try to not advertise too much just yet because I do make them myself. I'm working on making a workshop in the house. But normally, in my living room, in my kitchen, I take the stuff outside on the back porch, using the belt sander and stuff like that to make these things. So, it takes a little while to get a new design down, and to build another one. Now, like these curved ones, I can make those pretty quick. I can have those out, and the standard 30 watt, like this one here. This one here, I can mix up. I can build up pretty quick and get it out. The other thing, it was Justin's idea, was the what was that called? The paranormal selfie. Robert Veach.
Right.
He had the strobe light, using the strobe light. So what we did was, he messages me, and then I'm immediately on eBay looking for some kind of way to make this work. And one thing, these curved lights here, there's no, you don't see anywhere to put batteries, and that's because you use an external battery pack that I recommend, and they do come in a package deal. You get the light, the battery, the cord, and the charger, the 2-amp charger. That's all in one package deal.
Strobing.
All one price. So you can order the battery packs online just like I do. They do take a while to get in, so I try to keep those stocked up. But
real quick, Josh, sorry to interrupt. I was going to show them the strobe that we did at Waverly, just so they can get a feel for it. Let me find out where I was doing that at.
I know you did it on the 5th floor. Our first.
Let's see if we can get to the strobing here. Here we go. This is what the strobe looks like, and it's pretty cool. And like Josh said, he mentioned Robert Veach, and the idea is if something's moving fast. Okay, if you ever watch people dance in strobe lighting, it kind of freeze frames them. And if you ever strobed a fan, you will notice that the fan blades seem to stand still and are freeze framed, and not normally when you look at them with the naked eye, they're moving really fast and it's like a blur, right? So the idea is maybe if something's vibrating really fast or moving really fast, that may be why we can't see them. So the strobe may freeze frame. You might get a frame or two of something happening, in your field of view of your camera. So I just wanted to show them a little bit so you guys can get an idea of what the strobe feature does. Anything else, Josh, about the lights that you would want to cover? How they get contact you if they want some? What's the price range? I know there's a lot of mitigating factors of the price.
You really have to contact me directly. I don't have a page yet. Just still working on a page and logo, stuff like that for decals and shirts and things like that. The smallest light that I make right now is this 30 watt. It takes 2 18650 batteries, which I can recommend. Derek's here. He's the one that recommended the Ultrafires, because you do have to watch. Some of the 18650 batteries are different sizes, and I found out the hard way. So I've had to modify some battery boxes. But the Ultrafires will fit in here. I think Derek said turned up this light here turned up all the way. I think last 2 hours.
Yeah, 2 hours plus when you have it up all the way at full strength.
Mm-hmm. And yeah, the 2 hours doesn't sound like a lot, like a long time, but the times that you're going to have it turned up all the way. I mean, we were at Waverly, and Derek used his light. This is his light right here. This is a 30 watt plus 10 watt full spectrum. It's curved light, just like all, and it's got a lot of extra cool buttons and knobs on it. But he used this one. Justin used his curved 40 watt using these 8.4 volt battery packs. They're 12,000 milliamp hour batteries. I used this light right here, and I used the batteries, the 18650 batteries in the back, and none of us changed batteries all night. We used those. Well, yeah, the battery packs on these lights, I think it turned up all the way, anywhere from 3 to 5 hours. It really varies, but you got to turn them down. There was a bunch of us together, or a few of us together, all using these dead lights, and you got to turn them down. You can't use their full potential because you're whiting things out, and by doing that, they ended up lasting all night. This 40 watt right here, I had it turned all the way down, and I was using 4 of the 8 LEDs, and I did that all night long, and I didn't have to change batteries in it either. So. Turning it up all the way, even outside, you're probably going to be with somebody else that has IR, that's using IR too. So you're using their IR as well as your own. So you're normally not going to have it turned up all the way, but there may be some cases where you have to.
To respond to one of the questions Dale is asking about the strobe feature. Again, the strobe feature is to test a theory, and a theory is, if paranormal phenomena, visual paranormal phenomena like apparitions and stuff like that, if they're vibrating at a certain speed, like a high frequency vibration, or moving very quickly, we may not be able to pick up on it. Okay, kind of like, imagine a fan spinning. All you see is a circular blur of motion because the frames that your eye is able to capture is not fast enough to keep up with the speed of the fans. But if you put a strobe light on them, it freezes them, kind of like a dancer, in a dance club. So if you put a strobe on the fan, for example, the best example I can give you, you will see individual blades instead of a circular blur. So if this is true about some anomalies or entities, it may be able to freeze frame something. And I think it would be really freaking cool if you can get something with the strobe.
It's kind of like, actually, if you think about it from a photography angle, which I know Justin knows a ton about photography. Taking sports pictures when you're when you're at a fast-paced event, say a NASCAR race. I've taken pictures of them a couple times, and having the strobe is almost like setting a shutter speed for your camera that doesn't have a shutter speed setting. So you're pretty much using a strobe light as your shutter speed setting, and it causes your camera to catch anything that's moving fast.
Sort of. It will have a similar effect. It will only allow you to see something for a split second versus seeing it move all the way across. So instead of seeing a big blur, you only see it for a split second.
Right.
So yeah, I just wanted to answer that quickly. Josh, real quick, go into how they're priced, what goes in, to the different designs and the cost of them.
Okay. So like what I started to do earlier, and I tend to get away from, but this is the smallest one I have so far. It's a 30 watt with the battery box on the back, takes the 18650 batteries. This is $110 shipped. I can send a link for recommendation for which batteries to use. I'd have some ultrafires on the way, so I'm going to test those out as well, different ones, see how long they last. But this light just comes like you see it. $110, and that's with shipping. This 40 watt I'm playing around with. This is a 12 volt system, and the 12 volt system is tough to kind of control as far as heat and things like that. But you can also use the 8.4 volt battery pack on this. It's not as bright as a 12 volt because it's set up for a 12 volt system, but you still get. I tried it out the other night with these new resistors I put in, and I'm still getting over 150 feet in range with the lower voltage battery pack, but it'll also take recommended 12 volt. This one here is around $150, depending on options and things like that. Then we go to where'd I put it? 30 watt. And this is the Necro series. All these curved ones like this, these awesome looking things right here. This is the Necro series, and I let Justin name it because he was the first one with it, with his 40 watt curved front, and that was with his ideas. The recessed lenses and everything. Is another good thing, a good feature with the lights, nice and sturdy. The 30 watt, I believe I have it priced at $140, and that includes the cord, and I can add the strobe controller in the cord if you want that option. And that strobe controller has different blinking, different strobes. You can turn it on and off. Derek showed me that when we were Waverly. I had no idea. I was putting this product out, and I had no idea you could do that. But and it has all kinds of controls. It even has dimmer controls. It has seven different blinking, 7 different strobes, the speeds. 7 different. You can adjust the dimness, the intensity of it, as well as with the knob on the back. This one's around 140, and that's the battery, the cord, the charger, all that stuff. So you get it in the mail, it's ready to go. You don't have to search for batteries or anything like that. The 40 watt. This is not the 40 watt. This is Derek's. It looks the same. This one I haven't priced yet, but it's probably going to be the same price as this 40 watt.
That's the full spectrum you just showed him, right?
Yeah. This is the 30 watt IR, 10 watt full spectrum. It's probably going to be the same price as as this one right here, the 40 watt. And I can add a diffuser. It's like $5 more for the diffuser. This one right here, this is. Trying to think of what it was. It was like 180, 190. I'm trying to keep everything I'm trying to make, no matter how big these lights are, I'm trying to stay under $200. I do not make a whole lot of money on them. 100% of the money has been going back into parts and just tooling, stuff like that. I'm really not doing this for the money. So I have them priced to where they are expensive. I understand that they're on the more expensive side, but it's a lot better quality light than a lot of them out there. So, I like to build them. So I price them so that I can get what I put in them out of them, and just put the money back in to get more stuff, to get more parts, and try. I also use that for trying new lights and stuff. So. Justin always has new ideas coming in.
John Huntington says that he's going to get one from you, and I'm holding him to it. If he doesn't get one from you soon, we'll call him out on it.
Well, John is in Maine, and Corey Heinzen, those two go on trips with me. And Corey actually just bought this 40 watt off of me. I got to get it shipped out. So he wanted it by Tuesday, so I'm trying to get it to him. But yeah, and Nikki, I know Nikki's watching. Rob from her radio show, they also purchased one not too long ago, and Nikki's been trying to sneak that away from Rob, and he's not having it. So Nikki's probably gonna have to get her own.
Come on, Nikki, cough it up. All right, bud. Thanks for explaining all that. Me being involved with Josh with these lights have been a phenomenal experience. I've never had the opportunity to work with somebody to do almost exactly everything that I ask him to do. I mean, and he has it so quickly. Usually it would take a designer to, a while, but his loyalty and dedication to listen to others that he respects is top level. Okay, so if you message him or contact him and say, "Hey, I have an idea about something," this guy is going to make it happen for you. Even if it, may take some time, he's going to work with you. If you have a certain application or design idea, he's going to work with you. So it's not like just going onto a website and buying something off a retail store. You're actually making a friend and, having somebody who's going to work with you to make your idea and dream come true when it comes to your lighting systems. And it's such an important part of your video work when you do this type of thing. It's something that I focus on, and I'll tell you what, our lighting system is a heck of a lot better now that we have Josh on board with us. So I appreciate it, buddy. Hopefully
no problem. Thanks for your help.
Yeah, it's just the beginning. Just the leaps we've taken with the lights. It's been pretty crazy. I can only imagine what they're going to be like next year. They're probably going to be lighting up the surface of the moon and crap.
Yeah, it's amazing what we've overcome in with September now. So not even 9 months. We've come this far. We've started with just that basic 30 watt, and now I'm on to something that it performs really well.
Yeah, I agree. And he is making smaller lights for face cams. We're working on a 10-watt version. So if you're interested in things, just lighting up a small area that you need, we're working on that. But we're going to shift gears, and we're going to talk to Derek Schreiner about some of the stuff he has been working on with Interface Death. So, Derek, we have been working hard, buddy, haven't we? Well, you in particular. Yeah. But he's been in the shop, and I have been helping him, giving him feedback. And one of the hugest things that we would like to deploy and apply to our research is the cloud chamber. Now, a couple years ago in 2014, I made a video. I was doing some research on how to apply science to the paranormal research that I do. And some of the apparitions that I've seen on film, on photos, and with my own eyes, give certain characteristics that kind of correlate with some science. And some of the stuff is like the white, smoky, misty-like apparitions that people report and capture. So I'm thinking, like, what are the physics behind that? So I stumble across people demonstrating cloud chambers. And essentially what they do is they take alcohol vapor in this enclosed glass aquarium-looking thing, and it goes over top this case with dry ice in it. And this felt inside the container will allow the alcohol, the high concentrated alcohol vapor, to float down and become condensed and turn into little, vapor, liquid molecules. So you'll see condensation happening, like a little cloud, like a mist. So what ends up happening is stray subatomic particle decay from the sun, letting off, ions and electrons, will leave streaks inside this. So if you Google cloud chamber, you'll see these things happening. So I'm thinking, well, if ghosts or apparitions give off some type of subatomic particle decay, which they do in theory, we should be able to have a manifestation happen in these cloud chambers when they ionize the air and the alcohol vapor in the chamber. So maybe the mitigating factors allow us to see these things sometimes, weather conditions or whatnot. So to test this, I was like, okay, everybody start building cloud chambers. And of course, no one listened to me because it's such an out-of-box thing. Well, not Derek. Derek's like, that's a cool idea. I'm going to build it. So he's been building it. So kind of take us along the journey of what you've been dealing with and what you've been able to achieve with the cloud chamber.
Well, it started out, like you pointed out, we got to talking about it, and you were like, here, I'm going to send you this link to the video. So I watched your video, and then right after watching it, I thought to myself, well, I'm going to Google this. And when you Google it, you're going to see, I mean, there's videos upon videos. There's articles out there. Every one of them lead back to major scientific studies at major universities that they're using in physics labs. And then you've got the home projects that people are doing where some of them are just taking a mason jar and flipping it upside down, putting some alcohol in the top of it, letting it drip down and seeing if anything happens. Mm-hmm. And it was like, well, that's just cool. Just watching it on your computer, anybody that's watching this or listening to this show, if you just Google it and watch it on your computer, it's almost mesmerizing the way this stuff happens. So I was sitting here and I was like, I can build that. It's not that hard. So I, again, got on my other computer and started Googling, the different materials they were using. Most of them are using glass fish tanks. Well, glass is really, in my opinion, it's harder to work with because with transport, setup, in your locations you're going to try to deploy this in. If you're using glass, most locations are going to tell you no because glass is dangerous. It can break and cause a hazard. So I started researching the thickness of acrylic sheets and what kind of cold temperatures they can handle at various thickness to see what I can use acrylic-wise to make the chamber and it not bust under the extreme cold of the ice. Mm-hmm. So I started out relatively thin because it was cheap. The sheets of the thin stuff is pretty cheap in relation to the thicker stuff. It worked, I think. I did get a cloud in the bottom on the initial prototype. The only problem was I left it sit on the ice box overnight. When I went down the next morning, it cracked all the way up the front of it.
Yikes.
So that kind of told me, hey, thin is not the way to go. So I turned around and went thicker, got it put together. It took me roughly, for the thicker stuff, maybe a week to get the whole thing put together. Because people look at stuff like this and they're like, man, that's hard. It's intimidating. It's relatively easy if you've got the right stuff. You got to buy specific glues. You got to make your own jigs so that everything is perfectly square. You got to figure out dimensions so that you can fill it up as much as you can, because the bigger area, the harder it is to fill.
Matt wants to know how much you've spent on materials so far.
Let's see, just in the acrylic for the sheeting to make the box, the plastic, just the plastic, I would say roughly $200. That's just in the plastic. You figure in the glue, the tube of glue was like $20 because it's a specialized glue for acrylics. And then the alcohol, I have to order it special through Amazon. It's probably $30 shipped. And then when you figure in all the seal materials I'm buying, because now the problem we have is sealing the bottom. And getting the bottom of it sealed, I have to buy a specific foam seal, but you can only use it maybe twice before the alcohol will eat it away, and you got to start all over and put a new piece on. So that right there is like $6 every other use. Dry ice, the cost fluctuates. I've paid as little as $20 for dry ice for the bottle, and I've paid as much as $60 for dry ice, and that's each use.
Wow, so that's a big difference.
Yeah, I mean, the pricing goes, let's see, the first time I bought it, I think it was like $13 a pound for dry ice. The second time was $24 a pound, and I bought some yesterday because I'm going to test it again tonight, and it was $33 a pound. So it fluctuates really bad. And I've got some ideas that I'm kicking around to try to look at to see if we can get away from the dry ice altogether because of the cost fluctuation. It's kind of crazy to buy that every time you got to use it or you want to deploy it, because you have to transport it. You have to have specialized gloves, a cooler, and it takes up a lot of room.
What are you thinking, liquid nitrogen, or what are you thinking?
Well, liquid nitrogen, I've read some and looked at some of that, and most people are not using that because it there's no way to contain it to where you're not pumping just straight vapor into the chamber and screwing everything up. A lot of the articles I've read the last couple of days deal with Peltier coolers, and they're sticking theirs are small, relatively small compared to the one that I've made, but they're sticking Peltier coolers on the top and the bottom and on the sides, and using the liquid cooling system along with a fan to create the temperature gradient that you need. But we would have to build quite a big one. So I just have to figure out, the right way to do it, because I want to keep our cost down, but it's going to be costly to make once we start going full scale. But once we get there, I think the results that we yield from the experiment are going to overweigh the cost immensely.
Yes.
How big is?
Go ahead.
How big is full scale? How big is full scale?
I'm thinking to be able to fill it completely, because you want this thing to fill as much as you can with the alcohol vapor. You're looking at least 6 foot tall, because I would think that's the average size of a person, which I've kicked that around a little bit, because depending on the time frame or the era of the person you're trying to connect with, say like the 1800s, if you're trying to communicate with a spirit from the 1800s, relatively back then, people were shorter than they are now. So if you stay within a 6 foot tall range, you're going to cover everybody, and no deeper than 3 feet deep, so that you can fit the whole person inside of it. With the average width of a person front to back, I would say 3 foot deep.
Yeah. So when you're talking about full scale, you're obviously talking about a lot more dry ice as well, too, right?
Correct. Once we get to the full scale size, the dry ice in the bottom is probably not going to be ideal, because you're not going to be able to get it cold enough from top to bottom, because you got more area to cover. So you're either going to have to build it from the back or on the side, and then shine your light through the other side, so that you can get the cooling to completely fill the chamber. The back would probably be more ideal, because then you're filling a 3 foot space versus going from the side and filling a 4 foot long space. Because full dimensions would be 6 foot tall, 3 foot deep, 4 foot wide. And you'd be doing full sheets of, I think I used 1/4 inch acrylic on this one that I've got now. And, for a full sheet of 4x8 acrylic at 1/4 inch, I priced at Lowe's. It's like, I think either $84 or $104 per sheet. So you could do 2 full sheets, and then, 3 full sheets, have them cut down to size, and then you'll need a partial sheet to do your top and your bottom. And then, cost-wise, right there's just for full size for your acrylic is at least a couple $100, if not more.
Yeah, I'm letting them see the video of my video demonstrating the cloud chamber and how it works right now, just so they have a visual idea. And what you're seeing now is a welding rod, which consists of 2% thorium, and that is radioactive enough that you can see on your picture right now that it will give off quite a bit of subatomic particle decay. So in theory, that if apparition has this type of physical properties going on, you'll see a manifestation shaped like what it looks like in the chamber. And that is the idea behind the testing. And what's cool about it is there's a lot of theories in the paranormal field that people constantly preach about, but they don't test it. So one thing that sets our paranormal research team aside from most others is we actually test the theories that we have, and we put our money where our mouth is. And so far, Derek has put his money where his mouth is with this, and I will imagine that he will continue to do so until he knows for sure or not if the hypothesis is true or not.
Oh yeah.
So yeah, there you go, guys.
When that thing started working, and that test for everybody that's watching, that we did that last weekend, I think it was, and when it started kicking off and the tracks were forming, I mean, I was jumping up and down. I couldn't control myself. It was so cool because it was like, holy man, this thing's working and it's awesome. Okay, see, I'm going to test again tonight. The test that I'm wanting to do tonight is going to be on the same concept with a different style holding piece to hold the rod at an angle from one side across to the center to see how it reacts. Plus, I'm going to take the white light out and I'm going to put a small IR light that I have that was not made by Josh. It's a cheaper one that I've got sitting here. And I'm going to put it on the side and see what we can get using an IR light shining across it.
Yeah, so Josh Bender is actually going to have to make a custom light for the cloud chamber. And what we're going to do is use white light, full spectrum light, infrared light, just to see if anything is visible along with the manifestation and the condensation of ionized alcohol vapor. So
correct.
If you get a manifestation in it with regular light, it would be interesting to see if, now that you have an apparition where you want it, does the infrared and full spectrum theories apply to this? And if it does, you will be able to see that. So not only are we testing one theory, we're testing other theories at the same time. So you want to do that once you're spending all the money and time and effort to do something, you might as well do all of it that you can.
Yeah, I mean, it's going to be neat because it's multifaceted in the amount of stuff you can actually test, especially once you start capturing things in this with the IR light, the full spectrum light, put the strobe feature on it, test your strobe theory. I mean, there is a ton that this can yield that would just blow the paranormal field wide open.
Yeah. So you guys have listened to all the hard work that just these two have done and the collaboration that we have been able to do just with the three of us. So if you guys are supportive of all of this hard work, we have a Patreon page that you can access through our YouTube channel. Just if every subscriber donated $1 a month, we would have $1,000 a month to put into this stuff. I know people, times are hard and people don't have a lot of money, but if we can get some type of campaign of movement behind real paranormal researchers and put their money where their mouth is, or if they're really supportive and if paranormal unity is real, throw us $1 a month. Help us do what we're trying to do. And I promise you, we will see some result. We'll be able to prove theories right or wrong so we can move forward. Either way, it's research and we're learning. So we would appreciate any help that we can get from you guys through our Patreon page. Like I said, you can access that on our channel. So real quick, Derek, let them know about the other thing that we're working on with the remote control truck, and then we'll close out the show with a little bit of the EVP information that I want to give these viewers.
Cool. We're also working on a remote data acquisition device. It's a radio control truck that it just conjured in my head one night. I was sitting here watching TV and I was going through the internet and I was like, hey, I got an idea. And I just started kind of throwing it out and I was like, I'm going to see how much I can maybe get this done. So I bought the truck. My first truck was kind of a bust because it really wasn't what we needed. So I sold it, bought another truck, and it's pretty much, it's a cheap radio controlled truck bought from a hobby shop, so that we weren't putting a lot of money into the vehicle yet till the concept was actually put into place to see if it would work. I built a custom cage that fits on top of the body posts, removed the body, and I built brackets to hold various paranormal equipment that you can switch out, mail meters, one digital recorder. You can put anything that screws into a tripod, you can put on one of these brackets. The newest design has a bracket where you can slip on a portable radio so that when you run it, you can actually stop, talk through the radio, and see if anything interacts. It's got a mounted GoPro or SJ camera that's mounted at the top that we're still adjusting to try to get it to where it's nice and clear on the picture. And it's got an FPV setup like it's used on drones. to where we can remotely watch the video and see where we're going and what's going on. But at the same time, the camera is recording everything that's happening to the devices, to the vehicle, and everything that's happening around the vehicle to capture any manifestations or anything anomalous that might happen. Like Josh showed, the light that they kept showing everybody that has a full spectrum 10 watt that he keeps saying was mine, that was created specifically for this truck. And it is just phenomenal. It's beefy. It does the job. It has all the features you would want to illuminate whatever you need for this thing. And we use it at Waverly. I kept it turned up all the way, and it really did wash out a lot of stuff because I was getting close to a lot of different objects. But it works great. You know, the truck has a lot of intricacies that we have to still work on and figure out. But I think once we get it there, we're going to be catching some really cool stuff.
What I like about it is, especially if you're at a big place like Waverly Hills Sanatorium, you got one floor by yourself. You can drive it all the way down to the other end, turn it around and shoot down the hallway so you can see remotely from the other end through your PV screen. And you can record things that happen down there. So if you hear something far away down there, you're recording it down there. You can see what's going on down there. And it's so useful in so many ways. I can't wait till we get to use it more in big places. And it's definitely something that people are interested in. If you want Derek to build you this and you have the funds and the resources for this, he will build them for you. Just contact our page or look Interface Death up on Facebook and contact us, and he will get that message and he will get in contact with you on how to build one for yourself.
Oh yeah. Yeah, we were discussing that the other day because we did have a gentleman that come up to us at Higginsport School the first time we actually did a test run with it and was just amazed. And he was like, man, when you get those ready, I want one. So now, been kicking around what pricing would be to benefit whoever's going to purchase it. Because I'm like Josh, I'm not going to overprice something just because it's the cool factor. And I know people will probably pay for it because I've seen what people pay for stuff in the past, and it's kind of ridiculous. Mm-hmm. But, you want to keep the price in a range where people can afford it, and it's going to produce results, and they're going to respect what you're building and making for them.
That's right. So what we're going to do now, we're going to shift gears. I'm going to talk a little bit before we end the show. We've been broadcasting for almost an hour, so I don't want to keep. You'll lose audience retention after so long unless you're really hardcore into what we're talking about. So, our primary research that I've been personally working on over the year involves EVP. Okay, and we use certain devices that validate EVP. Okay, and before I get into that, I'm going to give you a little bit of lesson on our approach to EVP research. Now, EVP by definition is electronic, and it's only audible on a playback of a device. It's not audible by the ear. So a lot of people misclassify things that they hear with their ears all the time as electronic voice phenomena. And that's actually disembodied voice phenomena, which is actually something totally different. But, people just take one single recorder and they'll hit record and they'll get something that they weren't aware of. And they'll call it an EVP, which, a lot of people will cause false positives and contaminate their audio recordings by holding the devices directly, making noise, walking while they're doing it, and outside contamination like people, traffic, a whole host of things. So what we've come up with is this device here. I'll show you a picture of it now. Let me get to it. It's called, the pioneers of this kind of EVP research is David Rountree, and even Paul Browning has done a lot of things in this line of research. And it's called the RVPR, which stands for Rountree Voice Phenomena Recorder. And I'll put up a picture here in a second once I get to it. One moment. I'm sorry I don't have all this ready to go for you, but this this live show has been giving me problems, and hopefully by the next one, I'll have everything set up much easier than before. Okay, okay, here's a good one. Of course, it doesn't use the photo viewer that I wanted it to, so one moment. Okay, here it is, folks. This is a classic example of the RVPR. Now, you can utilize a 4-channel PCM recorder like the Zoom H4n or a Tascam DR40. And this is the handheld version mounted on a tripod, so it can be stationary. Oh my gosh, turn your phone down, Derek. Oh my gosh, Derek's phone. Oh my gosh.
Did it blow you out?
It blew me out, bro.
I was getting a text message from a viewer that actually said that was really cool.
Well, thanks. Next time, mute your phone. Okay, it's okay. Like I was saying, you'll see 2 shock-mounted shotgun mics made by Rode. These are Rode Video Mic Go's. You got to use adapters for your XLR external inputs for the left and right. So you see those getting run into the back. And what this does is allows you 2 left and right channels to see if you get a manipulation or an audio on just an isolated channel versus the 2 center condenser mics. So what you want to hear is something over here or over here. And the reason I use these mics is it's very susceptible to electromagnetic interference and anything magnetic. So any kind of weird magnetic interference associated with the EVP itself would be very beneficial to our research and allow us to learn things, okay? And you can analyze this audio using oscilloscopes and a whole host of other electrical engineering tools to learn more about the EVP you capture. But this will validate EVP if you only capture it on one or the 2 mics and not capture it here, because these mics here are not as susceptible to the interference. So this will prove that hypothesis. So I urge people to use knowledge of what EVPs actually are and try to follow our research and try to apply, the engineering behind, all the cool audio tools that we have to, validate, these elusive EVPs that everybody talks about. You always hear somebody saying, oh, I captured 50 EVPs at a place, and that's just very, very hard to believe. Let me catch up on the comics. I am so looking forward to the Solomon apps release. Of course, Matt's plugging the Solomon app in the chat. Okay, real quick here, guys. I want to give you a brief explanation of different types of mics that are used in paranormal research. So we will go to videos and video projects, and we will talk about dynamic and condenser microphones real quick.
Electrical signal. The most common.
Let's pause that. Turn the volume down. Let's see. We'll move this over to the main screen here, and we're going to play it. Now, this right here is a diagram of dynamic and condenser transducers. Okay, you have 2 different types of transducers that you work with. The vocal mics that people sing into, those are dynamics microphones. And they're right here. You can see a magnet in the middle of a coil, and there's a diaphragm attached to the top of it. So when the breath and energy from the air pressure from your voice hits the diaphragm, it'll move that magnet inside the coil. The magnet will induce the electrons in the coil to move and flow, and the up and down motion will change the flow of electrons, which will give a signal that travels down the wire of your microphone into your amplifier and produce an audio signal that produces sound. Okay, and that's how that works. All right, now you have what most people use is a condenser microphone seen here on the right, and it uses 2 electrically conductive plates, and one's got a positive charge, one's got a negative charge. Okay, and when air pressure and acoustic energy hits that, it changes the charge slightly, and that's what sends the signal. Okay, so there's 2 theories that EVP can be generated using these 2 types of transducers. Electromagnetic induction is where a magnetic field can cause the flow of electrons in the dynamic microphone transducer to generate an audio signal because there's no air pressure or acoustic energy involved in EVP. So how is it coming across? Well, if there's a magnetic field involved in the phenomena, the magnet in the coil will move in correspondence to the magnetic field and cause the EVP through the coil. Now, the condenser mic's something different, okay? So a magnetic field has lines, what they call magnetic field lines, and charged particles can be trapped within these magnetic lines. And the stuff that will manifest in the chamber is the stuff that will cause the charge of the condenser transducer to change. So if an entity can control and simulate the charge and how it changes the charge in the transducer and the condenser mic, it can generate EVP that way. So those are the two different physics theories that we test in the field. So if you're not doing this research, you probably should look into it to see if you want to do it or do something like it, because you're not really doing EVP research, in my opinion, unless you're doing these things. Okay, we'll move this along here and see if there's other info here. And this is just demonstrating the energy hitting the diaphragm and then the voice coil being there. And it's signifying the magnet being in the center. And once that moves inside the coil, this is the same thing as a speaker as well, guys. The speaker does the same thing. But the dynamic unit microphones, rather, they're not good at picking up very subtle sounds, and they don't have high frequency range detail, so they're not very good to use, only for experiments, as you can see here. But you have the diaphragm of the two electrically conductive plates there, and that's what's in your little dictaphone, your little digital recorders, and the Tascam DR40s, and the Zoom Q8s, and the Zoom H4Ns, and all the Zooms, and everything else, the Olympus recorders everybody used, the lapel mics, even vocal condenser mics are all based on this diagram as well. So that's pretty much the gist of that. Does anybody have any questions? Let me go over to the chat about the information I just gave you guys. Justin, can you send me that video you have on how the microphones work? Well, I have a video explaining it on my YouTube channel, so I can send that to you. And if you go to my YouTube channel and go to the library section where it has the playlists, you can look it up, all the methods and theories and stuff that I do the educational work on, and go through there and quickly find that video, okay? And it will explain on how the microphones work. So all the researchers out there, if you're using recorders and microphones, please learn how they work, because only then you will know how to apply it to the scientific approach of the paranormal, and how the phenomena can occur, how it can explain it, instead of just saying, oh, I caught an EVP, but I don't know how. Because if you don't really know how, then there's no way of validating or proving that it actually was an EVP, in my opinion. So, I could go into this for hours and hours about how to educate you guys on microphones, on how, the EVP research we do, but I will let you guys do that on your own time. Please visit our webpage or website at www.interfacedeath.net. Go to our videos. We have a research tab. We have a tech tab that shows you all the gear that we used, minus the stuff we talked about before, because I haven't got to the point of adding that to the site yet. But if you're in our area, Post Town Non-Con 2 is next Saturday from 10 in the morning to 6 in the evening, and we will be there. And Josh Bender will be there, Derek Schreiner will be there to tell you in detail about all this stuff, how to get it, how to build it, all that stuff. Okay, guys? So, I would like to thank you all for joining us on this live stream. I would like to thank Josh and Derek for sticking it out with me with all the technical difficulties.
Anytime.
We're gonna have to test the next one so I can actually do the graphics and have it looking a little bit better, but it turned out okay. I think we were able to, show people some information, and it turned out fine. What do you guys think?
Oh, yeah. Perfectly fine.
Yeah, it was good.
All right, guys. Well, if you have any questions, I'll monitor the live stream chat just for a moment, and we will answer them real quick, but if not, we will end this live show. Nikki says, awesome show, guys. Thank you so much. You are very welcome. Thanks, Dale, for tuning in. Thanks, Matt, for always supporting everything that I do. Please subscribe to this YouTube channel. Once we hit 1,000 subscribers, I'm going to jump up and down, and you're going to see me on Facebook and Twitter just going absolutely berserk, because I've been working on all this stuff for 4 years, and I've been struggling to get to that 1,000 subscriber number. So if you would like to just at least support our work a little bit, just hit that subscribe button. Hit that little bell icon next to the subscribe button so you can get the notifications of our videos, and that will help us out tremendously. Okay, like I said, you can donate $1 a month on our Patreon. You can donate more if you want. There's actually rewards up there. If I start seeing some support coming onto the Patreon page, I will modify and improve the reward system on that. We have t-shirts and documentaries available at our non-cons. I just now recently finished the Haunted Higgins Sports School documentary, so if you guys want to own that, it's only $10. I'm trying to work on a way to get a digital download, but it's going to be a while for that before that happens. Yeah, subscribe to our channel, just like Matt said. But thanks again, guys, for checking out the live stream. It'll be probably happening on Saturdays. I forgot that my daughter's got 6 softball games on Sunday, so I'm probably going to be doing this show on Saturdays now. So if you Josh or Derek want to join me again on the show, they're more than happy to. I'd be more than happy to have you guys on the show. Other team members on Interface Death, if they want to jump on Google Hangouts and join us, they're more than happy or more than welcome to. And with all that being said, I'll let Josh and Derek wave goodbye and say their goodbyes, and we will see you on the next video. We'll see you. Thanks, guys.